Ciao, homie!
Day 1 of 2021 official Strongman Games continues with Event 1, the log press for all of the men's weight classes, which we'll go through the results of right here. We start off with the under 80 kilogram men at the 2021 official Strongman Games, and there were a few names that I didn't see compete, and this happens in all of the classes as I've noticed, so not sure what happened, but when you have this many competitors, things happen, people pull out, so who knows. Josh Kowalski, I didn't see. I didn't see Timothy Gay. Chris Jenkins actually moved to a different weight class to the 90 kilos, so we'll see him there. And I didn't see Josh Treadway. Now, moving on up, Cody Abel, who's a good friend of the show. He's known as Strongest Tattooer on Instagram. I believe his performance was 0 for 0 points on the log press. And in fact, this log is a 255 pound or about 115 kilogram log. Big Laws said that he did 120 kilograms at Britain's Strongest Man as an open heavyweight, and these are under 80 kg men, so an incredible weight. Difficult contest for all of these weight classes, and that was Cody. So the other caveat, again, I'm trying to count these reps as well as I can. I might be off in certain circumstances. In other circumstances, Rodzi and Big Laws actually tell us what the results are, and I tried to grab those reps and points and correct myself, but just a caveat, they do not put the leaderboards on the screen or in any kind of easy way that I can jot them down, so I'm doing my best here. If I'm off, it's expected. Bjorheim, also with a 0 on the log. Vegel Care, 0 on the log as well. He went in group 6. He nearly had one, but he lost his balance backwards, and he dropped it forward. Then just a reminder, we had 4 competitors going head-to-head here, just like we did with the women. So 0 for Dargis as well. He went in group 5. 0 for Benjamin Donnan, who went in group 4. 0 for Pangaban, who went in group 4 as well. Rory Smith gets 1 rep, so he's going to get 12 points for that 1 rep. As the calculations go, as I said, some of the point standings they gave to me, and some of them I tried my best to derive. So he went in group 7. Josh Lancaster went in group 7 as well. He had multiple attempts and great flexibility and strength to finally get that one locked out near the end of the time limit. So 1 rep for him. 1 rep also for Joe Daglish, and he gets his share of the 12 points as well. He went in group 5. He got 1, and then he seemed discouraged, kind of laughing like he knew there would be no more, like, the heck with this kind of expression. 1 rep for Bernard Gorvet. He also gets 12 points there, so he gets his share, and he went in group 4. Jacob Fisher went in group 3. He also gets 1 for 12 points. Mason Cup, 1 rep for 12 points there for group 3. So you'll see right away here a pattern that it doesn't take many reps to get a decent amount of points because of all the zeroing that's going on due to how challenging these weights are. Alexander Pashea comes away with 1 rep and 12 points as well. He went in group 2. And then we have Ross Remillard, who gets 2 reps for his share of 18.5 points. He went in group 8. The camera angle made it a little difficult to see this, so he might have had 2 or he might have had 0. I saw 2. Rafael Paredes also, I believe, had 2 for his share of 18.5 points. In coming out of group 7, he used a really deep split jerk. Couldn't quite get that 3rd rep, but trying really hard with the split jerk motion. We then had Remco Sanders, also with 2 reps, also out of group 7. He had the same pace with Paredes most of the way. 2 reps for Tim Daglish, who was in group 5. Tim and Joe Daglish are twins, and they went together in the same grouping. Tim was the stronger of the 2 on this particular event. 18.5 for Cody Buskey, who comes away with 2 reps as well out of group 3. One of his reps got away behind him, but he kept trying. Really a lot of tenacity from Cody. 2 reps for Richard Yu, so 18.5 points for him as well. He came out of group 2, took a few attempts, but gutted out that 2nd rep and got it. CJ Kraus comes away with 3 reps, and so that's good enough for a jump to 22.5 points. He comes out of group 1, so one of the first competitors to go, and gets those 3 reps. 3 reps also for Quint Sambon. 22.5 points for him, also coming out of Group 1. So Group 1, a very strong start, a strong showing. And Tommy Lavelle, who everybody has been waiting to watch, the returning champion from 2 years ago, comes away with 4 reps, 24.5 points for him. He came out of Group 8. He had a bit of a soft lockout on his first rep, but they gave it to him. I would consider it a good lockout. Like, it wasn't as stiff could be, but it wasn't not locked out either. So the other thing I noticed is Tommy has a lightning fast split jerk. If you want to learn how to split jerk fast, watch Tommy Lavelle. It's quite a sight to behold. 4 reps also go to Nate Green, also taking away 24.5 points. He comes out of Group 5. He had nice, strong push jerks. This technique worked well to squeeze out another rep before the whistle. So if you're trying to push press and can't quite get it, a technique like a push jerk may engage a lot more leg drive and kind of shock explosive value into your press that can help you get out that extra rep, and that's what looked like happened here for Nate Green. 5 reps go to Richie Stout, coming out of Group 8, and that was good for 27 points for Richie. He mostly looked like he was strict pressing everyone. It was really, really incredible. He didn't really use much leg drive at all. And 27 points get split with Pavel Bosek, who was out of Group 6. He had 3 strong reps, but then he kind of hit a wall, but then hit another one after a rest and got his 5 there. And then Nick Coffin also splits 27 points, 5 reps for him. He came out of Group 2. He dropped it behind him and then kind of spent a while arguing with the referee since drops behind the back are not allowed, but still ended up with a good total here. And then Dylan Thompson comes away with 6 reps or 29.5 points out of Group 3. Smooth and consistent rips for Dylan. Dean McVie also ties him there with his split of the 29.5 points. 6 reps for him as well. He came out of Group 2. He had a very smooth, very great run. Really no issues that one could pick out at all. And then Andrew Haynes comes away with 7 reps or 31 points. First place in the under 80 kilogram men in the 2021 official Strongman Games, Event 1, the log press. He came out of Group 4. He had great jerks, easily the best of his group, and just kind of putting on a clinic and putting everyone else on notice with this event. Andrew Haynes, your winner in the under 80 men's class in the 2021 official Strongman Games log press. Let's have a look at the under 90 kilogram men. And at this time, I'd like to let you know that this video is being sponsored by our good friends at Garage Gym Life Media. If you like some of the analysis I've done on domestic contests in the past and want to know some more about the fine folks who are putting together and streaming some of those contests, I'm going to let John Greaves III, the founder of Garage Gym Life Media, tell you a little more about it.
Training in a home gym, especially if you're training by yourself, can be tough because sometimes you just don't have the motivation to go in your garage or your basement and get it done. And that's why we stream competitions every month on the Garage Gym Life Media YouTube channel. I'm John Greaves III, founder of Garage Gym Life Media, and after 20 years of training in a home gym, I can tell you that there's some days when I just don't feel like training. And those are the days when I put on some sort of training video or other strength-related content to give me the extra motivation I need to get in there and get it done. There is nothing more motivating than seeing people achieving their goals at a powerlifting meet or a strongman competition. And that's why month after month, we provide that content to you right there in the comfort of your own home on our YouTube channel. Plus, we leave it up forever so you can always just throw it on in the background anytime you need that extra dose of motivation to get you going. And that's why if you're not already a subscriber to Garage Gym Life Media, I invite you to take advantage of this opportunity to add this powerful training tool into your arsenal, because I want you to succeed right there in the best gym in town.
So starting off, we had Aaron Blackford, who I was looking forward to watching. I've seen him compete at the Mammoth Strength Challenge last year. Did not see him today. We then had some zeros as we did in all the other classes. So Leroy Smith zeroed coming out of Group 7. Ryan Largay zeroed coming out of Group 6. Mark Cummins zeroed coming out of Group 6 as well. He called it quits after one failed attempt, kind of didn't proceed after that. Jess Reeves zeroed coming out of Group 6. And I'd like to make note for everybody watching this, 2 hours, 2 minutes, and 34 seconds into the live stream, the official timestamp where we first hear Big Laws call Brian Shaw methodical. If you watch any commentary with Big Laws, who I love and everybody would probably agree is the best commentator out there, The one thing that is his signature is at some point he's going to make a reference to Brian Shaw and call him methodical, maybe more than once. Diego Valenzuela comes away with 0 as well, out of Group 6. I thought it was funny. He's named Valenzuela, but he represents Chile. Chris Jenkins, who was supposed to compete 80 kilogram, ends up competing 90 kilogram and below. He comes away with 0 here, so not sure if that was a good decision or a forced decision because he missed weight. Not sure what happened there, but he came out of Group 4, and that's what happened with Chris. Chris, a known powerlifter, so he's done some strongman competitions as well, and I'm sure he'll continue to improve as time goes on. But again, this is a very difficult show. Chandler Caudill, 0s as well, coming out of Group 4. He got thrown back off the mat on one of his reps. Chase Bradley, 0s, and he was coming out of Group 4 as well, so the same group as Caudill. 0 for Kenny Almeida, and you'll notice there's a lot of 0s in this particular weight class for the men. He came out of Group 2. He kept trying and was struggling with the clean by the end, but really tenacious, kept trying all the way through. 0 for Dale Longford, who came out of Group 2. He had 1 try and then called it a day after that. And now we finally have some reps. Devin Reese coming away with 1 rep, and that was good enough for 14 points, given all the 0s in this particular weight class. He came out of Group 7, looked very happy to get his 1 rep after a few attempts, and he was pretty far into the clock by the time he finally got it, so he did look very happy there. 1 rep also for that split of 14 points to Devin Ford. He was coming out of Group 5. He had to dump 1 behind him, but does end up getting the 1 rep. 1 rep to Tyler Davis, who comes away with 14 points as well. He came out of Group 4. He was thrown backward after trying his second one, so only 1 rep for him. 14 points for Mike Dell, also with 1 rep, coming out of Group 3. He took quite a while to get started, but got that 1 solid rep, and that was all for him. 1 rep for Andrew Pepio, 14 points for him as well. He came out of Group 3, so you'll see a lot of guys with 1 rep here, including Alexander Stashenko. So he came out of Group 2, finally gets a push jerk near the end, and then hobbles away. So hopefully not too injured there, and hopefully he can continue through the contest. Marcus Lane also had 1 rep, and he came out of Group 1, the first group to go. He got to his clean faster than the other guys, but had to muscle through that first rep, and no more after that, even though he just kept trying as well. 14 points for him. Then we move up to Nicholas O'Hare, who came away with 2 reps, and that's good enough for 19 points, so a jump 5 points higher for 2 reps. He came out of Group 7, 2 good solid reps for him. Mark Jones also with 2 reps and also 19 points, obviously. He came out of Group 5. Struggled mightily for a third, but it got away out in front of him and just couldn't get that locked out. Jonathan Kaitsanov also comes away with 2 reps, or 19 points. He came out of Group 5. He and Jones got the first rep around the same time, and that was it for both of them, 2 reps. 3 reps for Vladimir Startsev. He came out of Group 3, and another reminder, some of these reps are what I saw or what the tricky camera angles allowed me to see. They might be off when we were told by Big Laz and Rodzi what the actuals were. I wrote them down, but they weren't in a position to be able to share every single one of them, so we did our best here. Eric King also comes away with 3 reps and his share of 21.5 points there. He came out of Group 1. He had a great wide stance, and his push presses were really nice. Nikolai Myers comes away with 4 reps, and that's good enough for 23 points. He came out of Group 7. He was out fast with his first 3 or 4 before resting, and that was it for him, 4 reps. Derek Owens comes away with 5 reps, good enough for 24.5 points, and he was out of Group 5. He had a great technique, especially the clean. Guy Fulton splits that, also 5 reps for him, and also 24.5 points. He came out of Group 3. And those are your leaders for the 90 kilogram and below men's 2021 official Strongman Games Event 1 in the log press. Let's have a look at the 105 kilogram and below men's. So we start off at the bottom of the list here, and there's quite a few guys I didn't see compete. So Frank Provenzano, who I really was looking forward to seeing, he's especially good in the deadlift. Liz Timotus, Reed Tompkins, Jason Hasty, Luke Davies, Nicholas Wilson, Vitaly Makayev. I didn't see any of them compete. Sean Shoemaker comes away with 0 points here on the log. Sean really renowned for his deadlifting, so I can't wait to see him compete in that particular event. So he came out of Group 6. 0 for Graham Lamont, who was also out of that same Group 6. 0 for Johnny Waz, who was also out of Group 6. Johnny, also New Jersey boy, who I root for really hard. 0 for Hudson Osmolinski, who was out of Group 5. Chris Murray in that same Group 5, also zeros. Jake O'Hare, Group 4, also zeros. Shane Darrow with a 0 coming out of Group 4. Heidenreich coming out of Group 4. He had no reps, but solid efforts all the way through. Good cleans. We had on the website, it said Cake, I believe, but they were calling him Johnny, so maybe it's Johnny. But 0 for him, unfortunately. 0 for Nick Strauss, who comes out of the Blacklist Athletics out of Colorado, I believe. I think he traveled out there with my buddy Kim Scott, and looking forward to seeing Nick do better in the upcoming events. Todd Williams, 0 for him as well. He came out of Group 3. So again, quite a few zeros in this weight class as well, but we'll get to the top performers soon enough. Kevin Candido, zeros as well, coming out of Group 2. A 0 for Melvin Mwimba, coming out of Group 2 as well, that same group. Stephen Bradley, zeros coming out of Group 2. Akoto Coffee, zeros coming out of Group 1. The clean was even giving him trouble here. Then we have James Deffenbaugh, who did exceptionally well recently at America's Strongest Man. Unfortunately, zeros this event. He came out of Group 1, very close on 2 reps, but didn't quite get them as far as I could see. 0 for Volodymyr Reksha. He came out of Group 1, so the starting group. Matthew McKeegan comes away with 1 rep, so finally we have a rep, and with all those zeros, that rep is good enough for 17.5 points, so every rep counts in this particular competition. He came out of Group 3. Paul Mwanza ties also with 1 rep and also 17.5 points. He came out of Group 2. He was happy with the single that he got and backed away to cheer on his countrymen after that. Justin Loy comes away with 2 reps, and that's good enough for 19.5 points. He was in Group 5, and he got his 2 far apart from each other, so good determination. So he got 1, and then kind of had to go really deep into the clock to get his second one. So that doesn't always happen. Sometimes if you don't get it, that's it, but he really persevered. Chris Burke also with 2 reps and 19.5 points. He came out of Group 3. 2 of them looked nice and smooth, the 2 that he got. Nicholas Hine comes away with 3 reps. He was at a Group 4, great stamina. He got his 3rd one near the very end. Very solid work. No really major flaws or gaps in the action for him. Really nice work. Chad Kurian comes away with 4 reps, and that's 22.5 points for Chad. He came out of Group 5. He was very close to getting the lockout on a 5th one, which would have given him the lead at that point. He had a great clean technique, but he just could not quite get that 5th one. We have Miko Anala, who was in the lead at that point with 4. He came out of Group 1. 4 smooth, solid reps for him. And then we move up to our winner, Nicholas Camby, who's been taking the 105 kg world by storm this year and seems to be really keeping that up. I like to tell everybody that he's exceptionally motivated after being on my show very recently. Wink, wink. So he came out of Group 6. He's pumping these reps out like a madman. He got 5 of them to take the lead over Anala and over Kurian, who also had 4. Then he motions to the crowd to kind of give him more adrenaline and give him some noise. And even though he's already won because he's in the last group, there's no other groups left, he does another one just for the crowd. Then he's sticking his tongue out and really hamming it up. And Nick Camby, one of the great personalities in our sport, along with guys like Pau Dwyer that really get the crowd into it, and Evan Singleton. Like we need that in Strongman to really get the crowd invested. And Nick Camby putting on an incredible show. Wins the 105 kg and below log press, event number 1 at the 2021 official Strongman Games. Let's have a look at the men's open class. For those of you always tuning in to see my detailed analysis and my spreadsheets and love what you're watching and want access to them yourselves, I do offer that now as part of my YouTube channel membership level 2. So you can go over to my YouTube channel, click the join button as you see here, and then I have 3 different levels. So level 1 gets you all kinds of customized badges, and then you get custom emojis to use on live streams. You get member shoutouts every month. That's members only community posts, a whole bunch of different behind the scenes stuff and all, just in level 1 at an extremely reasonable price. Level 2 gets you access to all my Strongman analytics spreadsheets, everything I ever create or ever will create. I add links to that in the membership community for that. And then you can be a live guest on my show as well. Just wanted to let you know that memberships are available at extremely reasonable prices, and you can help support the channel that way as well. Now on to today's content. So starting off, in the men's open class, there were, again, athletes that I didn't see compete, including Bradley Pillow, Josh Thigpen, Emmanuel Frias, and Victor Ampafo, so I didn't see them compete. And then we had some zeros as well. So Terrence Gilbert, zeros coming out of Group 4. Jitsa Kramer, zeros coming out of Group 2. So I put down a note here. It looks like Paul White. So if anybody knows the wrestler, The Big Show, he kind of looked like a smaller version of The Big Show, which was just humorous to me. 0 for Frederick Rayom, who came out of Group 1, and he really struggled. Both Gabriel and Frederick went together in the same group, and they both struggled on the press. Stefan Sekej, 0 coming out of Group 6 on the log press. And incidentally, this log now up to 365 pounds. Gabriel Rayom, as I mentioned, zeros as well, coming out of Group 1, just really struggling on the press. Peter Juhaz, zeros as well. He came out of Group 5. Craig Candler, zeros coming out of Group 7. Connor Gordon, zeros coming out of Group 4, proving that the 365-pound log is quite formidable. And then finally, we have Aurelien Lejeune, who comes away with 1 rep, good enough for 11.5 points for him coming out of Group 3. So now we have some reps. Ronnie Bennikin, Strong Bro Big Ronnie, if you're not accustomed to him on IG, very good friend, a very good friend of my show. I'm really root for him to do very well. Ronnie's very accomplished in state. I think he's Oregon's strongest man, and he won a show in Washington State as well very recently. So Ronnie comes away with 1 rep and 11.5 points. He was coming out of Group 2 and had a good solid rep and called it a day after that. Josh Reynolds, 1 rep for him as well, also 11.5 points, also coming out of Group 2. Zach Hadge came out of Group 3, so he gets 1 rep, and that's good enough for 11.5 points. Justin Leger comes out of Group 6, 1 rep for him, 11.5 points as well. Michael Eerdmans comes away with 1 rep out of Group 4. Rodzi says he looks like Gabe Pena. I agree. I think Michael was actually doing some deadlifting on his Instagram, and Gabe commented on how much he liked his technique and whatnot. So maybe the opportunity to notice the resemblance came from there. Ayub Muhammad comes away with 2 reps, and that's good enough for 17 points. He came out of Group 3. A very strong 2 reps, handling that massive weight really well. 2 reps for Tim Buck also. Tim Buck's a friend of a friend. So, yeah, I root for Tim Buck to do well as well. And he came away with 2 reps, 17 points for Tim Buck. And then we have Stuart Graham also with 2 reps and 17 points. Coming out of Group 7, nice smooth lockouts. Nick Hadge gets 2 reps as well for 17 points. He was in Group 3. He dances between his first and second successful reps. With less than 10 seconds left, he decides to go for another one. He laps it and then tries to viper it straight up and just barely doesn't get it locked out. But really another great showman, Nick Hadge, and his brother. They're great to watch and really bring a lot of excitement to the show. Sean Hayes also gets 2 reps, good enough for 17 points. And he came out of Group 1, a solid performance. He didn't try the whole way through, so he got his reps and kind of took a rest before the time was over. Joe Stella comes away with 3 reps, good enough for 20.5 points for Joe. He came out of Group 7. He used a very wide stance. Nice, smooth lockouts for Joe Stella. 3 reps for Alex Kopp. He comes away also with 20.5 points, and he came out of Group 6. Dennis Berezhnik with 4 reps, coming away with 23 points for Dennis. Came out of Group 1. He really had to work for his lateral stability, but got it. Great tenacity. And they talked about the power of IHOP. Apparently, Rodzi caught him eating IHOP this morning or something, and they're saying that's what gave him his power. 4 points also to the American Marcus Crowder, who also comes away with 23 points. He went against Tyler Cotton in Group 8 after an equipment malfunction happened to him when he was originally in Group 6. He put down his log after 2 reps and the plates flew off. One of them actually around the next closest guy, Alex Kopp, all the way to Justin Leger. So, and I think if I remember right, Justin picked it up and kind of tossed it back. It was just a whole kerfuffle. And so they let another group go, so I guess Marcus could get a break. And then they moved Tyler out of his original group so that he and Marcus could go head-to-head. 23 points for Jonathan Lester, who I predicted would do very well in this contest. He comes out of Group 5, 4 powerful reps for him. 5 reps go to Spencer Remick, and that's good enough for 26 points. He comes out of Group 5 as well. This group was all good except for Peter. Spencer put up great reps. 5 reps for Tyler Cotton, who comes away with 26 points as well. And I mentioned already the move from Group 7 to Group 8. He was very close to getting a 6th rep, and then he kind of lost his balance at the very end. Nice smooth reps. He had multiple reps per clean both times, so he was cleaning away. One of the few guys able to clean away. And then we have Pavlo Kordiaka, also with 5 reps and also 26 points. He came out of Group 5. He had explosive presses, so not this like grinding push press or strict press type of motion, but explosive stuff out of him. He added a couple more near the end after being behind Lester and Spencer to get his 5. And then you have Wesley Claiborne at the top of the heap with 6 reps, good enough for 28 points. He comes out of Group 2. He's doing his famous Viper presses to start. He's very well known for Vipers and one motions. His 5th rep pushes him back a bit, and he holds it for a good signal with his heels off the mat. So incredible strength from Wesley Claiborne in the log press. He took a little bit of a breather, and then he one motions the 6th one like it weighed nothing. It was unbelievable. I wonder sometimes how many reps Wesley could get if he doesn't one motion things, like if he actually takes the rests along the way. And maybe that's worse for him. Maybe from a dynamic standpoint, it's worse for him, but it just makes you wonder. So anyway, the Men's Open winner in Event 1, the log press, at the 2021 official Strongman Games is Wesley Claiborne, followed by Pavlo Kordiaka, Tyler Cotton, and Spencer Remick, all tied at 26 points each. Let's have a look at the Masters classes. So first we'll have a look at the Masters over 50 years of age class. There were 2 Masters classes. So in this one we had Andy Clark coming out of Group 4 with a 0. Mark Galloway came out of Group 3. He zeroed as well. He gave up after 1 attempt. David Johns came out of Group 3 and he zeroed. Tim Soward's friend of the show as well, zeroed, coming out of Group 3. A great try, but just couldn't get any reps. Eric Schmidt zeros coming out of Group 2. Kevin Woods zeros coming out of Group 2 as well. Tim McCauley zeros coming out of Group 1. Brian Strickland zeros coming out of Group 1. He appeared to get injured during the clean, so hopefully Brian's doing all right. And then we have one rep for Brad Carell coming out of Group 4. 1 rep for Joey Grape coming out of Group 2. 2 reps for Dennis Long, who comes out of Group 3. He had to fight for like 5 seconds to lock out at the top of both reps, but he got them both. And Dennis is very tall, so a lot more motion for him to have to move that log than some of the other guys, but he did lock them out. Then we have 5 reps going to Vaughn Sikorsky for 12.5 points. He came out of Group 4, and he might even be... it might even be 4. I'm not sure. Like, I thought I saw 5. There was a soft lockout on the 5th, 4 strict presses, so I'm not sure about that 5th one, but I think he got 5. Eric Patterson, I saw 5 as well for 12.5 points. He went in Group 2, fell back to the floor after his first attempt. Then he gets back up and does 5 strict presses. Rodzi calls them preposterous, which is a fitting adjective. Then Mike Craig does 7 reps for 14 points. He's in Group 4. After being a split second behind Vaughn, he then passes him. 8 reps go to Michael Saunders, who comes out of Group 1, and he gets 15 points for that. So powerful push pressing by Mike. No big breaks, just a nice pace, nice overall run from Mike. And he ends up winning the Masters over 50 log press at the 2021 official Strongman Games. Let's have a look at the other Masters class, the Masters over 40, which the big joke is Mark Felix is in that class even though he's over 50, so is he trying to show off or what? Let's see how Mark did in the log press. So this was actually a really big group. It's going to take a few minutes to go through it. We have, again, a few guys I didn't see compete that I was expecting, like Svensson, Kesso, James Stanko, a very good friend of the show, so I'm going to have to message him and ask him what happened there. Marcos Ferrari. And then we have Mark Felix zeroed, unfortunately. So there's the cat's out of the bag. He went in group 9. Yes, there were 9 groups. This is a very big group. He didn't really try at all. He kind of just watched the other guys go. Chris Stewart zeros as well. He went in group 8. He gave a special effort when others would have quit. Like he really, really tried hard, but just couldn't get it. Olivier Delonier gets 0 as well, coming out of group 8. Derek Hudson zeros coming out of group 7. He lost his rep and then went tumbling forward over the log, so 0 for him. Ryan Rhodes zeros as well, coming out of group 7. Bruce Adams zeros coming out of group 6. 0 for Jason Glatch coming out of group 6. Andre Gregor comes out of group 6. All 4 guys in this group called it quits with about 15 seconds left on the timer, so just not doing well with this weight. This was 325 pounds for this particular class. Dan Thomas zeros coming out of group 5. Michael McKay zeros coming out of group 4. Jonathan Hines in group 4 zeros as well. Troy Bennett in that same group 4 zeros as well. Manuel Angulo zeros coming out of group 3. Davey McCann also in group 3 zeros, so there's a lot of zeros in this particular class. Richard Birchmore zeros coming out of group 2. 0 for Stefan Bergquist coming out of the first group, group 1. And then finally we have some reps. So 1 rep for Adam Larson, and that's good enough for a whopping 19 points because of all those zeros. He came out of group 8. 1 rep and 19 points to Randy Cole coming out of group 8. Kevin Prothero came out of group 6, 19 points and 1 rep for him. 1 rep for Jeff Henderson coming out of group 5. He had a nice first rep, but then that's all. He couldn't manage anymore. 19 points for him. George Pearson picks up the big 19 points with 1 rep coming out of that same group 5. Albie Mashaney, who you would all know much better as Big Bad Santa, one of my favorites and a great friend of the show. It was awesome to watch him compete. He got the 1 rep, so he came out of group 3. He had it a little bit low on his chest and forward when trying to get his second, so couldn't quite get the press. 2 reps for Henry Norris, and that's good enough for 24 points. Group 5, he looked good, but then looked like he may have had an injury toward the end, so he was being helped off by the staff. Hopefully he comes back strong. Washington Flores splits that 24 points with also 2 reps. He came out of group 3. He was strong, but he seemed to gas somewhat early. So not sure what was going on there. Maybe the weight's just too much. Gary Lloyd, 2 reps for him. Good enough for 24 points. And he came out of group 2. Eric Dawson with 3 reps. Good enough for 26.5 points. He came out of group 7. 3 solid reps for him. And a quick reminder, some of these reps were told to us along with the points. Some I had to derive and do my best given the camera angles, so apologies if they're off here and there. 3 reps and 26.5 points go to Romick Velt, and he came out of group 1. He had strong reps and no mistakes really in his run at all. Ken McClellan, the legend, 28.5 points for Ken, 4 reps for him. He came out of group 9. I thought Ken got 5 and Mikhail Shivlikov got 4, but they have it transposed the other way, so I don't know if I saw it wrong. Jerry Pritchett, I was proud to see Jerry put up 4 reps. He came out in group 4 looking slim and strong and healthy. 4 reps is a great total in this class, and I was really happy to see him not look injured like he did at the Rogue Invitational very recently. At least, in this particular event, he looked good. He looked strong. He looked fit. He looked healthy. 28.5 points for Jerry Pritchett. And as I mentioned, Mikhail Shivlikov, 5 reps for 30 points. He came out of group 9. Matt Webb put up 6 reps for 31 points. He came out of group 2. He had a huge total, but he was overshadowed by the otherworldly Dimitar Savatinov, who I'll talk about in a moment. Matt Cromer, who's also been on my show, a good friend of the show, 7 reps for, Mike Cromer, 7 reps for Mike. Sorry, it's very late here. I'm getting tired. But Mike puts up 7 reps for 32 points, comes out of Group 7. Some great strict pressing out of Mike Cromer. You should actually, besides Dimitar, this is one of the reasons why you should pay for this and go watch it to see some excellent strict pressing. He was very close to getting a 7th, but he gets pushed back a little bit and doesn't quite get it. 33 points go to the second place finisher, Big Z, Zydrunas Zaviskis. He does 9 reps coming out of Group 9. Ironic, 9 and 9. And so, as I alluded to earlier, that means there's one person better, and it was Dimitar Savatinov, who's been out of the game for a little bit. He puts up 34 points, 11 reps, made them look easy. He came out of Group 2. That's why I was mentioning other folks that did well in Group 2 looked bad in comparison to him. He was putting this thing up like it didn't weigh anything. And I put here like WTF, because 11 reps, like look at how many zeros and there were and ones, and there are very few guys who did a lot of reps here, so 11 just seemed impossible. But yeah, he had 10 reps done by just over the 30-second mark. Then he took a big break. He actually had almost 11 done by the 30-second mark. Couldn't quite lock it out, took a break and got his 11th at the end. So there's your finishers for the Masters over 40 in the 2021 official Strongman Games for Event 1, the Log Press. Your winner and a highlight of the show easily so far, Dimitar Savatinov, followed by Big Z and then Mike Cromer. That's all for the men's and the women's Event 1 Log Press at the 2021 official Strongman Games. I'll see you once again once I have some results for the car walk. And until then, of course, ciao, homie.